I'm talking about. Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys. What are you talking about?
Hey everyone, welcome into the Arena, a Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. This is episode 123. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Burley, how you doing?
I was enjoying that music over Atomic Heart footage you had there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Also, that game is looks great.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Burley, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's a long weekend here in Canada. It's
Mm-hmm.
nice to just be able to sit back and relax.
Yeah, you guys get the Monday off, man. I have to wait. Out here in Japan, I have to wait till Thursday to get the day off. So, yeah, it's like the emperor's birthday is coming up. So we used to have it on December 23rd, but the emperor decided to retire because he was, starting to get up there in age. And so his son became emperor. And so instead of December 23rd, when we used to be able to take the day and go last minute Christmas shopping, now that holiday has been taken away from us and we have to celebrate on February. I think it's the 24th. So yeah, or the 23rd, actually, Thursday next week. So yeah. Oh, well. Things happen. It is what it is. But yeah. And of course, going to go see Ant-Man tomorrow. So Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Looking forward to that. So
Yeah.
got a lot of cool movies that are coming up, and of course the TV shows. Big stuff that we're doing here on the Arena Productions. But of course, the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. We're talking about gaming news, and here on episode 123, we're going to be talking about: does Microsoft actually cannibalize games on Game Pass? We're going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about the review roundup for PSVR 2, which is coming quite soon. Ubisoft, they're saying they're going to be at E3 if there is an E3. What are they going to show? We're going to talk about that. And of course, our topic, there's a big game from Japan. It's been out for a while, but it's been remade. It's coming to the West for the first time, of course, like A Dragon Ishin. We're going to talk about that, as well as the picks of the week. And PlayStation, their extra and premium games for the end of this month are pretty big. And Burley's going to be talking about those as well. So we're going to get to that. But before we get to the games that we've been playing, before we get to the news stories, here's a brief word about where you can find the podcast.
Before the crew discuss what they have been playing, this episode of The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast's ad-free version in audio and video formats, will be going to Patreon after being recorded. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry Tier 1 level at $1 per month and get every episode including exclusive ad-free post-show content in video format when recorded, please visit patreon.com/thearena_podcast for further details. The audio version of the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, and in the video version will be on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. For the audio version, just download your favorite podcast app and search for The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called The Arena Podcast, where you can join and chat with the Arena Podcast community, and the podcast audio website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. For all information regarding the podcast and our entertainment and pop culture related content, along with our blog and forums, visit the official website of The Arena Productions at www.thearenaproductions.com. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at The Arena, AMPGNP, as well as on Instagram at The Arena_podcast. Now, back to the show.
All right, guys. I'm gonna let you guys talk because I played like only a half hour of Hi-Fi Rush again, and one of our patrons, Tuil, we were in the Discord. He was saying it's probably going to take me about 3 or 4 months to finish it. So I don't know if that's going to be true. I mean, with all the content that I'm working on and providing for everybody here on the Arena Productions, it's hard to play games right now, but I'm going to let you guys go for it because, yeah, there was a big game that was released a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of people are playing it, including the two of you. And Burley and I, we did an extra take on this, and it's up on the Arena Productions now. You can go check it out on the Arena Extra Take playlist. But anyway, go for it, guys. Burley, Carl, I'll let you guys decide who's going to talk about it first. And I think you guys know what game that is that I'm mentioning. So go ahead, man. Actually, Carl. I'll let you talk about Hogwarts Legacy and your experience with it.
Well, I also, since you have nothing to say more about Hi-Fi Rush, I can say that I finished it.
Nice.
That game's great. I loved it. It's I might say it's like a 9 out of 10, type of game.
Yeah,
a little shy of hitting the maximum because there's room to improve, right, in the game.
Yeah.
But they pretty much nail everything they're trying to do on the first go, which is nice. There could be a bit better, more interesting things to do during the platforming, but I appreciate and enjoy all of that stuff that's happening. So, the boss battles, there's some really great boss battles as you get towards the end. Mm-hmm. I like the one with Mimosa a lot. That was a cool one.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And the story is simple, but there's some good moments, touching stuff in it. It's like I said, simple but effective with good characters.
Yeah,
can't really ask for more.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So I highly recommend trying that out. Yeah. It's they don't make a lot of games like that today, and like it's like it feels like an older style game, but it's also sort of like definitely learned from modern stuff. So it's not like an old feeling game, but it does have like some of the trappings of how games really used to be. Mm-hmm. Like it's a real game,
Yeah.
Okay, and then I also played quickly. I want to talk about the Octopath Traveler 2 demo, and then we'll talk about Hogwarts. Just real quick, Octopath Traveler 2 demo. Okay. I played on PS4.
Yeah.
It looks good. It looks like Octopath Traveler 1. With a few visual flares here and there, I think I noticed that are different. Some like sort of camera angle shifts and stuff that happen in and out of battle, depending on things you do. Mm-hmm. It's relatively the same game. Like I feel like there's very little different. Like there's a starting 8. They all have the same classes. They're new characters with the exact same classes as the previous thing. Combat is the same, which is expected. Additions to it so far really is just the latent power system, which is sort of like you take damage and you break armor on enemies, and it builds up this small little meter that lets you. For the character I chose, the Scholar lets him do the thing which was in the previous game, where it was just a different way to do it, where you could a spell that hits all enemies can now hit one enemy and do massive damage to one enemy. The way it's used seems more effective than it used to be, because I think before you had to like sort of like queue it up. You had to like cast it from someone onto that character, and then they would be able to do it the next turn. Whereas this guy can just do it when I have that latent power ready.
Yeah.
Okay. Instead of having to spend that time setting it up for 2 turns.
Yeah. Which
right
seems
away.
good and bad, right? If you think about it, really, because like you can plan it, the other one, and this one is sort of like I have to wait till I have it built up. But I don't have to use it, so like I can wait to use it. So like this strategy is sort of similar, it's slightly different. And then other than that, like I feel like there's not anything I've seen that's like there's a day and night cycle that you can swap anytime you want, and you have different what do they call it? Like the abilities like you do out of combat, where you can like talk to an enemy person and like fight them or like steal from them or those type of things.
Oh, observe and all that stuff.
Yeah, all that now. Yeah, everyone has 2, depending on if it's day or night.
Okay.
So there's that little addition, and then you can go on water. Like I feel like it's gonna happen later, but in this guy's thing, he like makes a boat out of ice, and he can go on the ice water, in this little boat, and you can get attacked by enemies and stuff. So like, it seems like it's a mechanic they're going to use like throughout the game, which you weren't able to go on water in any way in the first game. So that's pretty much it. And Hogwarts Legacy. I don't want to keep talking too much, so I'll just do my brief stuff, and then Burley can take it away. I love this game. I think it's fantastic. It's just so much fun, and it's so much. It's better than I expected. It is like the exact like, open world game that I just been wanting to play for a long time. There's there's like there's lots of little stupid open world stuff to do in the game, and most of it doesn't give you anything amazing. But it all feels like kind of interesting to look at, right? Like there'll be little things to solve here and there as like side stuff, and like it's cool looking and it's fun, and sometimes it makes you think a little. And yeah, your rewards may not be that great, but like that's the nature of these type of games. I'm enjoying the experience of doing those. Besides the main story, I'm enjoying. I like the characters. I like the mystery setup so far.
Do you think the story is the weakest part of the game?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
I would agree with Carl on that.
Yeah, because there's some people out there that are saying that the story is probably the weakest. If they had to pinpoint any particular thing about the game that wasn't so strong for them, it would have been the story. But
I can easily tell you what my weakest part is after.
Yeah. Well, if you want to talk about your weakest thing, then I'll tell you mine after that.
My weakest thing, the map. The map is not the greatest on this, especially when you're going back to Hogwarts and you're trying to find the warp you want. The map is easily the worst thing in this game.
Yeah, map's a little frustrating, especially because you can't really you can't spin it, which is weird.
If you could spin it, would really help.
I don't know why that's not a thing. I would say the worst thing in this game is sort of like the gear. Not that it's bad so much as like you keep getting gear and it's like it's like, oh, this one's a little better. This one's not better. And this one, I guess, might have a special, thing attached to it, some special effect. And like maybe, obviously later in the game that might matter a lot more if you're like sort of building for a certain thing effect. But early in the game where it's just kind of like, I keep getting this stuff and it's like, yeah, most of it's crap. I got to throw it away. And then I'm like, oh, your gear is full. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Now I gotta I'm starting to throw gear away. Now I gotta remember to travel to Hogsmeade or wherever and any shop and sell all my gear before I go on a quest, so I don't end up having too much equipment. It's a minor inconvenience, but it is a little annoying. But there is also the great aspect of that the transmog effect, where I can make any of my gear look like any other gear I found. And just the appearances are great, like the different items, the hats, the cloaks, the capes, the scarves, the regular, everything is. There's so many cool. Yeah, there's so many cool options. Like you can make your character look really unique and interesting. And I love that. So, the combat I think is awesome. I'm really enjoying it a lot. I'm having a good time with it. The dodge, the parries are simple and easy enough. Like it's not making you have great timing, which is great because I don't really want that in this type of game. I like that you can combo, spells and attacks. The world is beautiful. Visually, it's great. Now, okay, I guess maybe the biggest downfall is there are visual bugs and other bugs throughout the game. Like it's not a perfect game.
Could you give us one example of a visual bug that you encountered, Carl?
Okay, Professor Fig in his room. So many times, he's sitting at his desk, and I'm having a conversation with him in a story mission, and he's got all this sparkly light on his face that looks completely messed up. I've seen people stuck in floors or walls happen at times, and they'll sort of correct themselves. And I've even seen I saw an object get too big in size randomly, which was weird.
Let us know in the comments, everyone. Of course, if you're playing Hogwarts Legacy, let us know how you feel about the game and if you've encountered any bugs or glitches. Of course, you can get with us in the chat here as we're discussing Hogwarts Legacy, or if you watch this on video on demand later on, you can drop some comments for us.
Yeah.
So we'd love to hear from you. So
yeah,
I guess go ahead, Carl.
Last thing I'll say is like main quest, I really enjoy every time you go into like a new area through the main quest. Like this, it's just cool. This interesting stuff, it's not like, it doesn't feel like it's reusing the open area stuff all the time. Like they're sending you to new distinct locations that are all like, meticulously designed and look incredible. So like, yeah, there's it's not perfect as far as visuals, as far as like animations of some of the talking and things like that, but visually speaking, like the game is beautiful to look at. Hogwarts is incredible. There's always like amazing like things happening around you, like objects and things animating and moving around you. It's just an incredible game to look at. I love it.
Burley, go ahead, man. Take it away.
Yeah, no, like Carl said, this game is just amazing. This game just hooks me. Like I haven't had an open world game like this. Besides, if you don't count Horizon, Forbidden West, the last one where I really dumped a lot of time into, probably Ghost.
Okay.
This really just like I love exploring. Like I'll just be walking and be like, I'm gonna do this quest, do this side quest. I'll do the Revelio spell. Oh, there's a hidden passage here. There's a chest. Okay, we got to go down here. No, we got to go down here first.
Yeah,
and you're getting the stuff. Yeah, the gear system is a second problem with this game. That you will fill it up a lot. But I've been making a lot of trips to Hogsmeade, so that's been my solution to.
Real quick, do you know that if you solve the Merlin trials, that actually upgrades your gear slots? Like maybe I'm going to kind of focus on getting some more of that done.
I've solved a few. I haven't gotten enough to unlock it yet. I still only have like 20 gear slots.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I do wish they would give you more at the start, because at the start of the game they give you a lot of gear.
Yeah, you're always finding that stuff. Yeah,
like right now I'm at a point where I'm not finding as much gear when I'm doing the story missions. It's all mostly just through the side missions. But one of the things that I do like is the game does, I think, this quite well, is at the beginning they show you a lot of stuff. You can't do it right away, but it always gives you that, oh, now that I have this, let's go back here and see if I can get in here.
There's a lot of puzzles and things to solve that the game doesn't just tell you how to do, which I appreciate, because I like the discovery. There is a good amount of that.
Yeah.
Now, Carl, I asked Burley this when we did the extra take. Do you think this game will be a Game of the Year candidate?
I think it has a good chance. I think clearly it's early in the year, so there's not much competition. So like, it definitely is a Game of the Year nominee for me, and it should be for most. Will it win by the end? I mean, the competition we know is tough. Oh, see this thing that's happening right now on the screen. This lock thing with the key with the wings. I didn't know how to do this yet. I haven't gotten to this. I see them and I'm like, I know I can do this at some point. So it is one of those things.
So a Burley spoiler here for you. Yeah.
Sorry.
I knew it.
Well, all you'll do is you'll find these random keys. You have to do this one side quest and then it unlocks them.
Nice.
Yeah, I figured that something like that would happen.
Nice.
I mean, did you like the chest with the eyeball on it, right? Like I figured out how to do that on my own. I don't know if the game ever tells you.
No, the game does not tell you, actually.
Yeah.
You can get a clue from one of the characters in the game. It says that I forget what he says, but it gives you a clue. It doesn't outright tell you, but it gives you the hints. I had a friend tell me, because I've been streaming this game, and I feel for any of my co-stream anyone that is streaming this game, because we streamers have not had it easy with this. Some people have had trolls, trolls and a-holes in their chats. Other people that I've had are just doing the thing of, they see that streamers like me and others are streaming the game, so let's unfollow. Every time you're streaming, unfollows.
Wow.
It's just oh yeah, it's just a whole thing. Like,
So childish.
oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
to those people that if you're gonna play this game of if you don't like, I stream a variety of games, and I have viewers that will come for some, won't come for others. Like, I have certain people that will just mainly only come for the Pokemon content I do. It's fine. It is what it is. But they won't, at least they won't unfollow. They won't do all this childish stuff. Yeah. It's just like, it's just like, personally to me, it's just like, stop being children. If you're going to act like that, move out of your parents' basement. Get a job.
Here comes Carl. Here comes the basement talk again.
Hey, I once lived in my parents' basement.
Yeah. Basements are great places, man, when you want to get away.
I lived in my parents' basement too, but at least I had, it was when I was going to college and all that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It is absurd what people are doing over this game. I mean, it's like, just move on. Like, it's not working. I want to say, like,
the Twitch numbers do not lie. It's one of the most watched games on Twitch. It had a great debut.
Yeah, like,
yes.
I get why people are upset about it's not the game, right? It's the creator of the franchise, the IP. But I get that, but like, you've lost. Okay. It didn't, whatever you thought was going to happen, you thought you were going to affect sales, it didn't happen. Okay. The game blew up. It's doing incredible. And it has nothing to do with what any of those people did or didn't do, because the game delivered. That's the thing. It looked great. It was marketed well. Yeah. And it came out and it was great. It's a really good game. Yeah. So it has everything you need, and it's a well-known, beloved IP. Like, there was nothing, you weren't going to stop that. And clearly the effect that you were tending to have didn't appear in any way, shape, or form. So, like, just kind of go on and do it. Maybe your strategy needs to be better. Maybe you should realize that, like, boycotting a product like this, I would say, never works. I don't know that there's ever an example of it working.
Yeah. No, it usually helps the product they're trying to boycott, because it gives more attention on the product and people want to buy it.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's like a small amount of that. I don't know if that's like a proven thing, because like, I can imagine, like, the amount of people are like, I'm buying it specifically out of spite seems kind of low.
Well, there are some people that do it out of spite, but it puts more spotlight, because there are one or two people that I knew that didn't know about Hogwarts Legacy. They just didn't know about this game. Right. And because it was all over Twitter and all over all the social media more and more because of this, they're like, oh, this game's coming out. Oh, let me check it out.
Yeah. I could see it's on social media having a larger spread because of that. Although I would expect it would have anyway, because it's a popular game, right? Yeah. So who knows, really?
Okay. Time to move on, guys. Speaking of spite, do you think Microsoft is putting games on Game Pass out of spite, so that they'll be cannibalized, and publishers and won't be able to make the money off of the game? I mean, it's kind of weird. It's kind of bad what's happened this week. I mean, obviously there's a story from gamesindustry.biz, and we're going to be talking about that next here. So
the biz,
yeah. So basically, Microsoft, in the, of course, the UK Competition and Markets Authority, so the CMA, they had their provisional report come out and all. And in the report, basically, it was talking about how Microsoft had mentioned that, Activision didn't really want to have, first party, like day one games put into something like Game Pass, because it would cannibalize their sales. But then it was just completely blown out of proportion. And it's like, well, you said this, and, it's like, now you said one thing and now you're saying the other. But I mean, it's like Microsoft is basically taking these publishers aside and the developing studios and saying, hey, we will compensate you, for these games that we're putting on Game Pass. You are going to get a nice package for this game, and my previous co-host, when we first started this podcast, he obviously had qualms about Game Pass in the sense that there's sustainability is just impossible because of the fact that they're dumping so much money into these studios, because they can't make any money off it. Well, it seems like that's not the case at the moment. But anyway, Carl, I'm going to throw it to you. And what do you think of all this? I just honestly, I don't think sales are being cannibalized. I think what Phil Spencer actually said when he was talking in 2018 about there's specific games that people actually find on Game Pass and that actually, is a way for the game to actually do very well in sales. Some games like Forza, some games like State of Decay, for example, they had pretty good sales. So after coming to Game Pass. But anyway, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so the big problem with this story is that none of these places reporting this give you any context around it. Right? They're just like, hey, look, there's this thing that somebody found in the CMA filing that says that there's a % decline in sales for buy to play or something games, right? Mm-hmm. When a game comes on Game Pass after a certain amount of months, blah, blah, blah. They took that one little thing and said, like, this means cannibalized sales. I'm like, that's not really the case. Like, yeah, maybe it could, right? But you're not telling me the context around why that was said, what else was said around it, right? Yeah. And if you look online, you can find other things from that same document that say things a bit more specifically, right? About like, specifically Activision saying that they didn't want to offer their games onto Game Pass because they thought it would cannibalize their buy-to-play sales of Call of Duty, which is a pretty obvious thing to say, right? Like, and even Microsoft saying they would estimate that they would saying they would estimate they would lose a specific redacted percentage on Call of Duty games. Yeah. I mean, that's obvious. Like, if you're going to put Call of Duty, like a major game onto Game Pass, a certain percentage, pretty much everyone who plays Call of Duty who has Game Pass is probably not going to buy it.
Not going to buy it, no.
Right? No. Because they're paying for Game Pass. Like, that's pretty clear. That would lower your sales, but Microsoft would have paid Activision to put the game on the service.
Boatload of money to put it on the service. Exactly.
So they would have made that money up on that side. So like, all you're saying is that like sales numbers of specific games, generally like third party and even first party AAA games, right, would be lower, but at the same time they're going to gain money on the Game Pass subscriptions, and the third parties are going to gain money on the upfront charge. So like, it's not really saying anything of consequence, right? And we know from what Phil, because people are like, this contradicts what Phil Spencer said before. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Like he's talking about very specific types of games, right. And there are all these other smaller developers who back that up, who say like, my game saw
case by case. By case. Yeah,
they're like, my game saw increased sales because we put it on Game Pass, and that's because of exposure.
Yeah.
And it's not going to work for every game. Is this a specific type of game that, generally speaking, yes, like a smaller, this Aiden Chronicles 100 Heroes, right? That's a perfect example. Yeah. I think this game looks great, and it's a spiritual successor to Suikoden, right? Mm-hmm. But is that gonna equate to like big, draw? Is it gonna get a big buzz? Probably not. But the fact that they're putting it on Game Pass day one, there's a lot of people who are now looking at that on the Xbox side, saying like, "Hey, look at this cool game we're gonna get right away. We're excited to play it day one."
Yeah,
who might not have. So,
yeah. Burley, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Carl and you so much on this. But one of the things they don't even realize is like with some of these games, I have friends that'll play these games on Game Pass, but when the game goes off the service, they're like, you know what, I really still want to have that game, they'll still buy it because they want it and be like, now it's cheaper. I know the game's good. I'll buy it and support that. You still have people like the huge draw for Game Pass, like for someone like me, is just, hey, I don't know if I want to drop $90 or $100 on this game. Oh, I got Game Pass. It's on Game Pass. I'll try it.
Yeah.
And it'll get me to try some of these games. And sometimes, like, when you get in trying these games, you'll buy the DLC, you'll buy stuff, and the dev's getting the money there.
Yeah.
So it just seems like this is just really bad reporting and just taking a small thing that should just be a small little statement and running wild with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, Liza P. There's another one that we're showing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I know, like, it got some buzz at one event. It was Gamescom, right?
Yeah.
But that was where everyone found out it was coming day one to Game Pass. So that's a lot of that buzz is generated by the fact that it's associated with Game Pass, and a lot of people have it, and a lot of people are going to be able to play it without having to any sort of, risk involved because they already have it.
Yeah, this compilation that we're showing right now are games that are coming this year to Game Pass. So, yeah.
Like, I saw a comment, someone on Twitter, like, Atomic Heart, like, coming soon. Like, are you getting it? And, like, I didn't comment, but in my head, my thought was, like, I already got it because I already have Game Pass for this month. So, yeah, I guess I am getting it. It looks cool.
Yeah.
I want to try that one, Party Animals. It's been a while since they talked about this.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
That's a game I can't wait for.
No, this is the one you're looking forward to the most, Burley, Pigeon Simulator.
Looks fun too, to be honest. Looks so silly.
Giant hulking pigeon.
Oh man,
I wish I had the time to, like, play all of these games. There's so many games. Like, if I was a kid living in my parents' basement, I gotta tell you,
living in your parents' basement. There you go.
I would have Game Pass, and I would never leave that basement. I would play all day, every day.
Whenever we get really, really big here on this podcast, we're gonna make a studio in a basement. There you go. That's it.
Yeah, man. I can't wait. I want to have a nice basement. This game has that awesome, like, style from that other game. The name of it.
Redfall here, it says to be determined, but it's coming out in May. So yeah. But so good.
Ravenlock.
Yeah, and I think with the CMA, I think there's supposed to be some kind of I think the legal end of it all. I think the Microsoft side is going to be coming up with their report or something like that soon. And it seems like Sony's starting to backtrack a little bit. So
there's a recent story about Sony, meeting with Microsoft and actually talking again about whatever the deal it might be. It's like annoying, the whole thing with the Activision deal, because, like, the CMA thing came out, and, like, it's funny because everyone reads it, and everyone, a lot of people have different opinions, right? Some people are like, "Oh, the deal is doomed."
Well, most in the gaming media basically said the CMA, they don't understand the gaming industry at all.
They don't seem to. And there are actual legit mistakes in some of the things that they have said. Like, there was a thing that they said, like, about, in order to play cloud gaming, you have to buy expensive hardware. Like, no, that's the whole point, is that you don't. So there's a lot.
You just need a good internet connection.
Right. So that whole thing, like, the CMA right now, is everyone is talking about it, and everyone thinks, like, the CMA is the be all end all of it, and it's a big deal. But from what that filing suggested, it left the door open for behavioral remedies, which means, like, they didn't. People are looking at, they want them to divest Activision and stuff. That was a thing that they said, yes, but that wasn't the only thing that they said in there. So leaving the door open for just behavioral remedies, which means, agreeing to things like Call of Duty on PlayStation for X amount of years, or whatever else they, of that line. Yeah. I think that's where we're going to end up. I think eventually the CMA is going to have to just fold and like make a deal, because, like, what is blocking it benefit them in the country? Like, they just want to, they want to, like, make a statement like and like look, like we kind of won, we got something, right? We got something big, maybe.
Yeah.
We did
And
something.
yeah, right. Because ultimately, like I think the UK in general will benefit from a better Microsoft and Activision in the UK.
Yeah.
Because it's more
Yeah.
sales of product in the country.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what was it? Bobby Kotick was actually saying that they'd be going back to it wouldn't be like the the Silicon Valley of
Oh yeah.
in Europe and stuff like that, especially in the UK.
He said it'd be like the Death Valley. Or
Exactly, the
something
Death
like that.
Valley. Yeah.
Yeah, which was an interesting quote because I think he was asked something and but he's right because it would tell big tech like you can't do X, Y, and Z, and they're like, well, okay, we'll just do it elsewhere, or we won't do those things. And sorry, I guess, sorry, UK, you're out of luck.
Yeah. Well, I still think obviously things are going to work out and the deal's going to go through, and hopefully by May. That's what some people are saying, but we shall see.
Yeah, there's all that stuff with the FTC happening now.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
it's like just kind of disconnect from it and wait, it'll...
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of disconnecting and connecting, you're going to have to do that still with PSVR 2. and PSVR 2 is coming out next week. And now we're going to talk about the review roundup because the reviews are out. And I'm going to show all of you video viewers the headset breakdown video that just came out last week of the PSVR 2. So I'm going to go ahead and start playing that, and then we'll discuss these reviews. And so you can get the review roundup over at GameSpot. So I'll go ahead and read a little bit of them for you. But it's interesting that Horizon Call of the Mountain, that's the big game that's launching with the PSVR 2. But most of the other games, they're already currently available on other VR platforms. Of course, the roundup of games that are, at launch. So anyway, pretty good reviews. IGN, of course, gave it a 9 out of 10. Quote, with top-notch visual quality and immersively tactile Sense controllers, PlayStation VR 2 represents a quantum leap over its predecessor, setting a new standard for console VR gaming, end quote. That was from Gabriel Moss over at IGN. Video Games Chronicle gave it a 4 out of 5. Jordan Midler says, quote, PSVR 2 is an amazing headset, but whether it's worth it to the average PS5 user is yet to be seen. As despite the amazing technology, the software so far isn't enough to convince most to run out and buy one. So those are a couple of the reviews. And I think that's the big thing about the PlayStation VR 2. And we've talked about this before, the price, obviously, a peripheral that's more expensive than the actual console that you have to hook it up to. So,
It's a rough one.
Yeah. So what do you guys think of these reviews? Obviously quite positive, but then again, I don't know. It's all about the games, man. It's about the games. And, what games did they actually review these on? I mean, we didn't really get much of that. So
that's the thing. From everything I see people talking about PSVR, the hardware is really good.
Yeah.
And that's important, right, to nail. But it's the library of games, which again seems good, but also it's not revolutionary. It's not like drawing new people in, because if you're a VR enthusiast, you've probably played all of these games, with the exception of Horizon Call of the Mountain, which currently has a 79 Metacritic. Yeah. It's so that game, from everything I've heard and talked about, that game isn't lighting people on fire. It sounds like it's good, right? It's a good experience. It's not revolutionary. It's not amazing. It's fine, or maybe even has some great aspects to it, right? Visuals, they said, are really good on it.
Yeah.
Climbing. Some people, I saw different things about climbing. Some people said that the climbing is monotonous. Some people said the climbing is like the most interesting thing. So I'm like, it's kind of weird. Aspect that I saw both of those things said. Yeah, man, it's gonna be I think a rough ride for PSVR 2.
Burley, you were predicting that they would sell probably only about 5,000 units out of the block.
Yeah.
Do you still stick with that after these reviews?
I still do, because you still got they can give the high scores all they want. Like I know IGN gave this like a 9 PSVR 2. You could score this thing high, but you got to remember the average Joe that's going to read this. They're going to be like, okay, I need a PS5, $500 US. And then I got to spend another $600 to get the VR 2, and then get Horizon. That's probably another $40.
Yeah.
So the cost to entry alone is just going to take off most, like I would say 95% people that are interested in VR 2. They're going to look at the price, the PSVR 2, and the cost to entry, and be like, okay, well, that's not for me. And there's just so much stuff. Like as you do more and more looking into it, because I knew people that were like me that were interested, but then when Sony said, yeah, we're not going to have backwards compatibility with VR titles, that just hugely took out of their sales.
Yeah.
Like
that was the big bomb that they dropped there. It's like, what?
Yeah, and they didn't really want to fully address it too. They were like, they just kind of snuck it in there because they knew if they said, oh yeah, just when they were showing this off, and no backwards compatibility, but we're going to resell you the Moss games, people would have been writing.
Yeah.
Because they're going to eventually go for the Astrobot game from the first PSVR, which a lot of people really enjoyed. Yeah. They're going to say, here's the enhanced edition.
Yeah.
PSVR 2.
Yeah.
Give us $30 or whatever they're going to charge.
Yeah.
You know it's coming.
They're going to have to face reality and get all of these PSVR 1 games backwards compatible and get them on this thing. Because
I think
the majority of them, at least, I mean, like Batman Arkham VR, games like that, maybe they'll be more enhanced with VR 2. Who knows? But
I think it's too little too late, because most people are already soured on it and be like, yeah, I'm not going to it. I could honestly say, even if they brought PSVR 1 titles now and said, yeah, we're going to bring and be working, and every little while you're going to get them back on there, it's going to be like, yeah, that's great. That's too little too late. I'm not wanting to, here in Canada, for me to get the bundle that has everything and Horizon is like $800 and something before tax. So it's going to cost me about $1,000 to get
crazy.
this.
That is crazy.
And it's like, yeah, no. And with what you need to set up your area to get the VR and all the wires and crap, it's like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This thing to me it's dead in the water. I can't see people really wanting to go get this, because you have the pricing issue. You have to have the spacing issue, and how let's be honest. Sony has not shown, if it's not the main PlayStation console, they've shown they won't support products long if they're not doing well.
Yeah. Well, that's the big question. I mean, how much money is Sony actually, putting into VR technology, and will there be a PSVR 3? In the future? I mean, I think this, with this, I mean, if this tanks, I don't think there will be. There won't be a third. I mean, so kind of like with the Vita. I mean, the Vita, as far as we know, they're not making another handheld. There's a lot of people that throw a bunch of fake news out there on the internet saying that there's another handheld coming, but I haven't seen anything.
Vita means life, okay?
Yeah, it does, but not in the case of VR though. I mean,
means death.
Yeah.
The Vita, man.
the Vita was a great handheld, man. It was a great handheld, but
why didn't they call it PSP2? Man,
yeah,
idiots.
Yeah, I mean, it just wasn't supported. That's the problem. If it would have been more supported more, the Vita would have been really, really successful. But
see, I see the exact same thing happening here.
Yeah.
As the Vita, you're gonna have your first party support up front.
Yeah.
But after a while, that's gonna dwindle because you have to keep putting those resources into it, and you're not gonna get a return on it. You don't sell enough of these units. Why is Sony gonna put $100 million budget into a big AAA PSVR 2 game to only sell 100,000 copies, even 500,000 copies? Right?
100,000 copies. Well,
I'm
really
saying like the best case scenario, right? Let's say this thing sells 2 million units over 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. What percentage of those people are going to buy any one specific game, right? It's not going to be all of them. So like your pool of people buying this game is limited to an amount of sales of a game that is not going to let you spend a huge budget.
Yeah, I mean, I think they said Horizon Call of the Mountain is a 6-hour experience. 6 hours. But then a game like Hi-Fi Rush is like 11 hours with a ton of content in it, and of course, if you have it on Game Pass, of course, it's only like a $10 subscription.
Hi-Fi Rush took me, I think, 11 or so hours, maybe. Yeah.
So 6-hour experience with Call of the Mountain where you're paying more than $500 for it.
And that's the thing. It's still Call of the Mountain. Still, to me, sounds like an experience game.
Yeah,
and that's what I thought it was going to be.
Experience.
I don't think that's enough, but I don't think you can spend the budget you can't justify spending the budget to make these big things, and you're going to get like. Gran Turismo 7 is going to get its thing. It's a PSVR 2, update, right? That lets you play it on PSVR 2, and Resident Evil 8 is going to get one, and so those are full-fledged games. But like, the thing is, people have already played them, and they're not designed for VR. So like, you're going to have that extra sort of immersion, but there's nothing specifically like I'm getting the VR experience out of this game so much as like. Cool, I can play this game in VR now, and maybe that's something a few people like. But it's not enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's
just like we've said this many times before on the show. It's a niche market, and people with a ton of dough, they're gonna and love tech. They're gonna go and buy this thing, and they're gonna play it maybe once a month, if that.
Yeah. See, those people already bought.
Yeah.
Another VR headset somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
they probably got all of them.
All of these games that they've wanted to play because they're already available.
Except Call of the Mountain. Yeah, that's the only one.
And this headset, while really good, isn't doing anything wildly different or better than the other best headsets out there. Yeah. So like you might think, like visually speaking, some of these games are going to look much better than PSVR 1, sure, but PSVR 1 was like the low end of VR back when
right.
So
Right. Yeah, like I think Yoshida Shuhei was mentioning that think of it as like with the console generations, it's like the PlayStation 1 generation. So all right. So let's go ahead and move on. So E3, the big question mark about who's gonna go there, who's gonna show up and all. Well, it looks like Ubisoft. It's weird. If there is a show, we have a lot of things to show. Well, hopefully it's not just Skull and Bones. I mean,
are they not sure for some reason? Because it was announced.
Yeah. So anyway. I'll show you some of the games that are coming out for Ubisoft this year. Of course, Assassin's Creed Mirage is one of them. But anyway, from GamingBolt.com. So anyway, Yves Guillemot, he's saying that, if it happens, we'll be there and there'll be a lot of things to show. So, of course, Ubisoft expects to release multiple games before April of next year, including the likes of this game here, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Frontiers of Pandora Burley, the Crew Motorfest, and Skull and Bones. If that
still
ever
doing
happens.
Crew games?
Yeah, I guess. I guess. I guess. Anyway, your guys' thoughts. Obviously Microsoft is not going to be on the showroom floor. Sony's not going to be on the showroom floor. Nintendo's not going to be on the showroom floor, but they're probably going to have their own like little, presentations, that are, pre-recorded and stuff like that. Of course, Jeff Keighley's going to be doing his opening night live, but maybe Ubisoft will be on the showroom floor. What are your guys' thoughts? Burley, I'll start with you on this one.
I think this is Ubisoft just trying to play into being like, well, they're gone. We can go in and we can get a bigger presence at E3. This can work out better for us. It's like, but as you said, they have nothing. Like besides Mirage that we know is coming this year, Skull and Bones, which is in development hell, and the Crew, it's like, are they going to come and show us like, hey, we actually have Sands of Time is going to come out? Because like they've announced so many remakes. This Splinter Cell, like so many of those stuff we're waiting to hear, but they have not they haven't talked about in a long time. So it's like, unless you've got these showing and they're ready to go, I think there's no point in them. They shouldn't be going. Personally, like I've said, when it was announced that all three companies have bailed out of E3, it's just, hey, you could do your own. I think their events are what, Ubisoft Forward. I think they call them. Yeah. You could just do a Ubisoft Forward, announce it a day or two ahead. You'll get people that are interested, and and all the major gaming news sites will cover it, and you'll get your coverage.
Yeah.
You don't need to spend all this money for E3.
Yeah, which sort of makes me think that the way he's saying it is that they're just going to align their next Ubisoft Forward with E3.
Yeah. And obviously, Assassin's Creed Mirage, if you have Ubisoft Plus, you'll be able to play this game on it.
So that's Ubisoft Plus is a weird one, though, because I think you have to, like, there's probably a tiered thing, right? Like, there's the lower tier.
There's multiple tiers.
That gives you the new games. And that's supposed to be coming to Xbox, but it was announced and it's supposedly coming soon. Because there's people saying that, like, there's it's not like data mining so much as like there's data that's listing Ubisoft Plus in information on games on Xbox Live. So they think that means that's coming soon. But that means like the service will be available to subscribe to, but who knows if it's going to be like EA Play, where you can't actually subscribe to the EA Play like higher tier on Xbox, I think, as far as I know. To get like the day one games, you can just get like the other library, and it's included with Game Pass now, of course. But
and Burley, you remember this one? Yeah, you remember the trailer for this one, man? Yeah, I mean, I can't believe this game hasn't come out yet. Obviously, because of the movie, you would have thought that they would have brought it out to to go side by side, hand in hand with the film.
Well, I think they knew. It was probably their intention to get it out with the film, but I think Ubisoft has had a lot of trouble getting games out. And with ones they have gotten out, they have not had great reactions. They've underperformed, and a lot of their games have not come out in good states. They realized they screwed up with this Avatar game. It's it's just another nail in that coffin, and I think they're scared. They're really scared to get that next nail in the coffin on them.
Yeah. I mean, Skull and Bones is probably their next game, and no one really has a lot of hope for that game. Assassin's Creed Mirage, I think, will do well, but we don't know very much about it. I think Avatar, is going to flop. I don't really think that there's a lot of overlap between the fans or the general public who is going to see the movie and this game. Like, it's just there isn't really. It's not like Harry Potter. Like Harry Potter, Hogwarts Legacy. Like, there's a nerddom to that, right? There's and that is often associated with gaming. That is not the case for Avatar. So yeah, I don't know how they expect. And then the fact that it's a first person shooter, like that's obviously maybe it's a bit of my bias, but I just don't see how like anyone who is gonna like, oh, I'm gonna look at this movie Avatar, this great like cinematic, sort of very story character driven movie, and then I'm gonna go play a game that's just about shooting stuff.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't. Those things don't match up to me. So it's a weird one. I don't know what they were thinking, but yeah, Ubisoft, man. I just hope. I think that it's a good shot to show a lot of good stuff at E3. Like you brought up the remake of The Sands of Time, Burley, and like I forget how much I love that franchise. Like whenever someone talks about that trilogy, I know like there's ups and downs to that trilogy, but I gotta tell you, I loved all three of those games. They're just great games.
I've always wanted to play them. I've played other Prince of Persia games, but never have owned those ones.
Yeah. The second one is like the edgiest, and the third one is just like, man, he gets this like, I forgot exactly what it was. Is it some sort of demon thing or some sort of power thing like attached to him, and he has this like arm that he can like lash out, and like this is wild. It just went like to this really interesting place. They just kept like adding interesting layers onto it, and it was a cool franchise. And then they rebooted it, and I was like, I don't care. And then I didn't play that reboot.
Oh, well, there was the reboot, and then they released, I think, a year after the reboot, there was like the Forgotten Sands, which was like it was supposed to take place like in an alternate timeline before Sands of Time or something like that. And that one, because they gave it away free on PS3, that one was fun. It was a good game.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird that Prince of Persia is sort of where it is now, because that's a franchise that like I played the original like old game, that side scroller one, which I loved that. And then when it like transitioned so well to 3D with Sands of Time, I was like, oh man, this franchise is gonna last. And then we get to now where like they had a great trilogy, and then they rebooted it, which didn't do as well, and then all of a sudden it's just gone. And they're having trouble with the remake. I'm like, dude, get your act together.
Yeah, it still boggles the mind that they announced that Sands of Time, which should have just been an easy get this thing out and easy money, they still can't get it out. It's still not out. They for the longest time they kept the pre-orders live on all the storefronts, and then it quietly just went. It's off all storefronts.
Well, I'll tell you this much: the Assassin's Creed brand is the biggest cash cow for Ubisoft, I think, and that game Mirage will come out on time. When it comes to the other games, I don't know, and we haven't even heard about the Division 3. I mean, that would be a big game for them as well. Just no word on whether or not they're actually working on the Division 3 or not. So, because it's been a long time since Division 2 came out. So, we shall see. But.
Yeah. I mean, Prince of Persia used to be a big thing for them, because, they even made a huge blockbuster film with Jake Gyllenhaal in it. I mean, it was a big thing. It's just they kind of like let it go, and I didn't like the reboot. Like the shift in sort of tone and art style to me was like, it didn't sell as much as like what that franchise could be anymore. But it's fine. See, amount of people liked it. It wasn't a bad game.
Yeah.
I think the remake, what you got like saying like, oh, where is it? It's disappeared. I also just think that the reaction to what they showed was very bad, and I think they're just like, look, we got to take this back to the drawing board. We got to do more, right? I think at this point, I hope that they are looking at, Resident Evil 2, which is like the sort of extreme example, and then like Dead Space, right? It's sort of like, we need to be that level. We need to be Dead Space, right? Remake level.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be below that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's get to the topic of the show, and we're talking about games from the East that are coming to the West. We've talked about that before. There's this game that came out in 2014 and here in Japan. It started on the PlayStation 3, of course. And it was very, very popular out here, as well as all the other games from Ryuga Gotoku, which means like a dragon in English, which is interesting because they decided, Ryuga Gotoku Studio, to rename these games. They're not called Yakuza anymore. They're called Like a Dragon something. So Like a Dragon 8, which is coming, of course.
Isn't that going to be weird?
It's not out here because here in Japan, Yakuza is very taboo.
Right.
So I think that's probably one of the reasons they wanted to be more politically correct. And so Ryuga Gotoku means like a dragon. So, that's a catchy name. So Like a Dragon something. So
is that the title in Japan already?
Yes.
Okay. So it's just in America.
Yes.
It's going to be weird because you just played
it's going to be in America Like a Dragon Ishin. That's the game we're going to be talking about now, but it'll also be called Like a Dragon in America as well.
It's like you played Yakuza 6 and then you played Yakuza Like a Dragon. Here's Yakuza 8. I mean, sorry, not Yakuza 8. Here's Like a Dragon 8.
Like a Dragon 8. Like, from now on, it will say Like a Dragon.
And you're like, there weren't 8 of these.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
But anyway, so let's talk about Like a Dragon Ishin. Of course, it's set in, of course, late Edo period Japan. Of course, and the main character, everybody knows him, of course, as Kiryu in the Yakuza games or Like a Dragon games. Okay, so, but he's playing Sakamoto Ryoma, who was a historical figure in late Edo period Japan. So the question is for this game. This game obviously takes place in late Edo period. It's not a modern day game in a sense when it comes to the historical aspects of it and all. But do you guys think this game will penetrate the West and do very well sales wise? What do you think about this? I think it will, because I think, the Yakuza games, Like a Dragon games have a very big following, especially in the, streaming community, as well as Burley can attest to. But I think it will succeed out here. I mean, because out here in the West, or out there for you guys, I'm out here in Japan, but for you guys out in the West, you have not had a chance to play this game before. So this is a first experience for you guys. So I think it's going to be like a brand new game for you guys to play. And I think it's gonna sell very well. Your thoughts? Carl, I'll start with you.
Ooh, it's a tough one to predict. The franchise has grown significantly in America now. But it is different, right? It will is the same audience that interested in the sort of more classic Japanese setting,
like Ghost of Tsushima or something like that.
Yeah, and I think yes, there's a lot of overlap there, but it's not a new game, so yeah, I think there's that. I think it will sell well, right? I think they'll meet whatever their expectations are. I think they'll meet their expectations and probably exceed those by a certain amount. I don't think it's going to blow up in any way. Like, I don't think you're gonna hear like this game sold way better than expected, or I do think it sort of needs maybe to be on like Game Pass or PlayStation Plus Extra, sort of like to get a bit more people to like jump in and try it, because it is a bit different from the other Yakuza games.
Yeah.
It's reviewing pretty well. It's already reviewed. It has an 82 on OpenCritic, which is a nice score.
Yeah. So
yeah, we shall see on this one.
Yeah,
it's
and
one
the game
that
is
people wanted. So,
and the game is based in Kyoto as well. So a lot of the Like a Dragon games are based either in Osaka or in Tokyo, but this one's in Kyoto, because Kyoto, until the Meiji Restoration, Kyoto was the capital of Japan until the Meiji Restoration in 1868. Then it changed to Tokyo. Or I'm sorry, it was Tokyo. Tokyo became the capital. It was Edo, in like 1615. But this was the capital of Japan, for many years. Not at this point, but so But yeah, Burley, your thoughts?
Yeah, as Carl said, Carl did bring up a really good point of like the whole Game Pass, because that really helped with Yakuza 7.
Mm-hmm.
It really helped, or Like a Dragon, it really helped the sales on there.
Yeah.
This, like, I actually played because there is a demo for this. I did download the demo, and the demo, I must say, is pretty crap. The demo does not teach you the controls at all. It's like, so it was like, I think this game will do well, but it's mostly just because of what Like a Dragon accomplished, because it really did well over here. So I think people, because it's smartly using the Like a Dragon name, like I know you said that's because they're changing the franchise name to that, to be more politically correct. I think that's just going to get people in. Because it'll be like, oh, it's part of this series, Like a Dragon. I loved Like a Dragon. I should just check this one out. It's an action-y Like a Dragon game.
Right.
So I think it'll do well. And as Carl said, on Open Critic, it's got an 82. So it's reviewing well. I think it'll be a hit, but I don't think it's going to be as big of a hit over here compared to Like a Dragon.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, the modern day aspects compared to the historical aspects of it all. But I mean, you have the same characters though. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Kiryu is, Sakamoto Ryoma. So people know these characters already. So, that might get them hooked in, I think. But anyway.
Yeah, I feel like that's a thing that's only going to matter for like real fans of the franchise, because I think a lot of people are going to look at it and be like, they're not going to realize right away. They're like, oh, that's the same guy. Like, unless you're like really into the franchise.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing to do that, like, it's like we took the character from our franchise, our original character, and like, he's sort of playing a character from history, but he is that character. It's a weird thing that they did. It's sort of neat. It's almost like a neat little, I don't know, not an Easter egg, but like it's a fun thing, but I don't think it really matters so much.
Yeah. So the Shin Sengumi are depicted in this game. The Shin Sengumi were kind of like this organization. They're anti-foreigner, in a sense. Just before the Meiji Restoration, which of course the Meiji Restoration brought in a lot of Western industrial, things to the country at that time, because of course Japan wanted to catch up with the West. So it's kind of ironic that this game is coming out West now, because they want they want these games to be out in the West so they can catch up. Yeah. I guess.
I think there was definitely a hesitancy to put this on them, because obviously it took them so damn long to do, and they did the other games. You would have thought they would have tried this a while ago, but they definitely didn't think that this game would sell all that well here in the West, or in anywhere in the West. So I certainly hope it succeeds, because it looks like actually a really good game. Like, it looks like, if I wanted to play the standard action Yakuza, I kind of want to play this one.
Yeah, well, this is a remake. It's been remade basically. So
right.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, I think it took them so long because it's like you're slowly penetrating with the mainline games, and I know they did well, but I know it wasn't until Like a Dragon where they really took off, and it's like, this was some spin-off game that we had. It's different. Do we want to try and test the market with this, or do we go with the next mainline, which we know should do at least decent numbers? So I think it helps that they just spent the time focusing on the mainline games that they know that would do well. And as more and more popularity that the series grows, you're having people looking at the games that Japan got that we never got here in North America and being like, hey, we want this game. We want this game.
Yeah.
And then Sega saw the numbers and were like, Okay, we got to get this over there.
So what's another game that the two of you would like to see from Japan that has not come out west yet come?
Oh, man. That's like a question that is very difficult now because a lot of the games come.
Yeah, it's
even things that missed, like Live Alive, right? Is one that never came, that finally came to the West. What is that Bahamut Lagoon game from back in the day?
Okay.
I don't think that ever came. That was Super Nintendo. FIDA.
Yeah.
I don't think ever came.
Mm-hmm.
That's one I would love to see because that's like your turn-based strategy.
Yeah.
How about some of the older Final Fantasies, the international versions that we never got with the extra content?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything more recent, but generally, like most stuff just comes, to America at this point.
Yeah.
Or not, the West, right? There'll be a translation of some sort.
Yeah. I think that's one of the main things too. The translations, the Japanese to English. It was probably one of the reasons why Yuga Gotoku might have decided not to send it out west in the beginning. I don't know. Who knows? just a hunch there, but because the language rendering can be pretty difficult because there's a lot of expressions in Japanese language that are very hard to translate into English. So
there's some pretty poor translations back in the day for a lot of games. So
Ted Boozley, anyone?
Well, there's a lot of out here in Japan. There's a lot of poor English translations pretty much everywhere. I mean, there are actual businesses that actually they work for clients to make sure that their English that's written on like T-shirts and on company walls and everything are actually accurate. Yeah, because I mean, I see some people wearing shirts with like English, written on it, and it's just a lot of incoherent babble, or it's something that they should not be wearing. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm an American gangster, it says.
Yeah.
No. It's worse than that, Burley. It's actually X-rated stuff that they don't even know that it's X-rated.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm serious.
I believe you, man. I believe
kids are wearing these shirts, and I'm just like, holy beep. It's like, oh my God, and it's like, kid, come here. You know what that says? Tell your parents.
You don't know what you're talking
about. Tell your parents, man. Tell your parents. Yeah, your
The
parents.
kid's like, that's why I bought
it. No, it's like they're like 12-year-old kids.
Man.
They're 12-year-old kids, man. Or something.
I'm a rebel at 12.
Like no way, but anyway.
But a Sega. Since we're talking about Sega game here, please Sega, can you please bring Shining Force 3, Scenario 2 and 3 to the West, please?
Nice.
Translate those games, put them all together in a nice package, all three of them.
Expat will translate them. So
a little. All right, there you go. You got your free and play. No, you should probably pay him.
Hell no, I'm not doing it for free. Come on.
Should probably pay him, and
probably.
And
you better pay me if I'm going to do
a remaster. Okay, just fix up those visuals a little bit, and you gotta. I'll buy a copy.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe
one
two.
sale.
Yeah. But anyway, as I was saying, historically, I mean, Kyoto for like over almost 1,000 years was the capital of Japan. Then it moved to Tokyo. So crazy stuff, but good stuff. I mean, I'm hoping that all of you out there get a chance to play Ishin and have fun with it. So it's a great game. So
it's coming to Game Pass, huh? What do you think? Same time period as Like a Dragon?
Maybe this year. I would hope so. That would be awesome. Yeah.
I think if it comes to Game Pass this year, it's because it really slowed down on the sales and they're really just trying to recoup in cost.
Yeah.
If it comes next year, then I think the game sold well. They were just like, hey, Microsoft is offering us a bunch of free money. Let's just take it.
Yeah. Well, it could, maybe, but the Like a Dragon came within what? I think, was it 6 months?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
Yeah, because I think it came in late in the year. It
Yeah.
launched like, I don't remember exactly when it launched, but then it came to Game Pass. Like, it wasn't that far out. So like maybe they just didn't want to like launch it into Game Pass, and that they had the like, we'll put it out, X amount of months later. But who knows?
Yeah, and then the Judgment, what was it? The first Judgment game came as well, I think. So yeah.
Judgment, I don't think was ever on there.
Or I think it was like a trial or so, like a demo.
They had the free play, like
free
weekend.
Play, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that Judgment, for some reason, because Judgment, it's tied up with different issues with the actor. So.
Well, and it came to, I think it came to PlayStation Plus too. Yeah,
I think one of them did. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it was, but Judgment was on PS Plus.
Yeah.
Lost Judgment was on Game Pass, Game Pass weekend.
The weekend, yeah. So,
Yeah, like one of those.
Yeah. So, yeah, hopefully we'll get them full brunt on Game Pass at some point. Yeah. But we'll see. All right, it's time for our picks of the week for the week of February 20th through the 26th. And Burley, this week in alphabetical order, your game is first. So what do you have for us this week? So you can, of course, for all of you video viewers and all of you audio listeners later on, you can go to releases.com and you can check out all the releases that are coming for the week of February 20th through the 26th, as well as for the whole entire month of February and moving forward. So, so the link is below for you video viewers here. So, okay, Burley, what do you have for us?
My pick of the week is Atomic Heart. Atomic Heart is an adventure first-person shooter, events of which unfolds in an alternate universe during the high noon of the Soviet Union. The principal character of the game is Special Agent P3, who, after an unsuccessful landing on Enterprise 3826, is trying to figure out what went wrong and trying to clear up a factory from went mad robots. Okay, that was a very bad sentence there.
Translation.
Tuesday, February 21st, coming to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and it is launching day one into Game Pass. I already have it downloaded on my Series S.
Yeah, can't wait to play this.
It's a big game, and it's about 80 gigs. If I remember correctly.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Gigs, man. Wow. Yeah. Oh man, I want to go off on those robots. Yeah. That's good stuff. Like I said, 30 minutes a game in a week. Yeah. 10 minutes of destroying robots. That'd be good stuff. Yeah. All righty. Okay, Carl, you're up next. Actually, I'm up next. Okay. So next up, of course, is the topic of the show was on Like a Dragon Ishin. So 1860s Kyoto is plagued by widespread inequality, and one samurai will change the course of history in his search for justice. Take up the sword of Sakamoto Ryoma and venture to Kyoto to find your father's killer, clear yourself of a framed murder, and restore your honor. In doing so, you will bring an end to the samurai era and forever change the future of Japan. Draw your blade, load your revolver, and join the revolution in this heated historical adventure that only the creators of Yakuza Like a Dragon could produce, or of course Ryuga Gotoku Like a Dragon. So let me go ahead and stop that there. So
that gunplay they showed looked really fun, to be honest.
Oh yeah, good stuff. So it
is cool to see that. Sorry, go ahead.
It comes to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X on February 21st. Yeah,
because guns are not something that are common in the Yakuza games. No. You're not playing with guns, right? You're not shooting guns as the main character. Yeah. So it is cool, like swords and guns. It's traditionally that's a video game thing that people love.
Yeah, but in Japanese history, in the late Edo period and into the early Meiji period, it was swords and guns, swords and handguns like that. So very historically accurate in that sense. Yeah.
All the other wacky stuff. Yeah.
Okay, next up, Carl. What's your pick of the week?
It is Octopath Traveler 2, coming on February 24th. PC, PS4, PS5, and Switch, but not Xbox. Screw you guys. The story takes place in Celestia, a land comprising an eastern and western continent divided by the sea. It is a bustling era wherein large vessels navigate busy sea routes, and the power of steam gives birth to new technologies. Some people thrill to glamorous stars of the stage and industry. How's that? That doesn't make any sense. While others are brought to tears by war, plague, and poverty. In this faraway realm, 8 travelers hailing from different regions venture forth for their own reasons. Step into their shoes and explore the land as you see fit, using their unique talents to aid you along your journey.
Yeah, it looks pretty. It's very, very, like the first Octopath Traveler, So
yeah, there's definitely doing more, like the visuals, things in the background, camera pans and movements. They're definitely like sort of coming into their own onto this this sort of new art style that we got. But
yeah. Good stuff.
The writing is again where I'm like, I don't know. Like the character I chose, I'm not digging his story to start. Oswald, the scholar. So maybe I just picked one that, again, they're not all like in the first game, some of the stories are just, I wasn't interested in all. Oh, there's the boats.
Yeah.
And so like maybe I just picked one that's just not really working for me. But I want to play more of it. So because it's just fun. I just really enjoy the gameplay loop of this.
Nice. Good stuff.
Oh, and it is already reviewed. So if you're interested to know, it has an 86 average right now on OpenCritic.
Nice.
Right on.
Nice. All righty. Okay. So now, Burley, you're up next because boy, oh boy, we had a big drop when it comes to PlayStation Plus, Extra and Premium. So what are we getting for Extra and Premium?
Yeah, I think so. I think Sony saw when Nintendo finally did Game Boy and said, "Oh crap, they're actually going to beat us." Hold my beer.
No.
We got to put some effort. So for the Extra, we've got Horizon Forbidden West, PS4, PS5. If you do not have, if you like the first game and have not picked up Forbidden West, do yourself a favor, play this game. Whether you have Extra or just buy it, it is a must play. And this surprise me going on here, The Quarry.
Yes,
yeah,
I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this game. I don't care. I'll dump all the other stuff that we're doing here on the Arena Productions to play this game. No, I'm just kidding. But I do want to play it for sure. Yes.
I streamed this game. I had so much fun because how I did it is like when you got those choices, I would pause, be like, okay, chat, let's pick this, and we'd have votes in the chat.
Yeah.
No, you got to pick this. You got to pick that. It was
from the creators of Until Dawn, right?
Yes.
It's
a lot of fun. You can do the whole game of like everyone dies, everyone lives, and stuff like that. There's so many different endings, a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And we've got Resident Evil 7 Biohazard for PS4. Actually, I really did like Resident Evil 7. So if you haven't tried it, get a chance to try it out now. Outriders for PS4, PS5. I remember this game just kind of came out and died.
Well, it was on Game Pass too, so a lot of people played it there. I think.
Game Pass. I remember playing the demo and deleting it after an hour.
Okay.
Scarlet Nexus for
Nice.
PS4, PS5.
That's a great game.
Such a fun game.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Yep.
Borderlands PS4, PS5 for Borderlands 3.
That's nice. Yeah. I'm
I've
a
heard
big
good
Borderlands
things.
fan. So yeah.
I forget. Did Borderlands 3 get crossplay?
Yeah, I think so. Eventually it did. I think. Yeah, if I remember correctly. But yeah, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Did Borderlands 3 get crossplay? So,
I can't remember if it did or not. I remember there's controversy behind it.
Yeah.
Tekken 7 for PS4.
Nice.
So which I believe is the latest of the Tekken games. So
yeah. Good
and
stuff.
then Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown, PS4. And Earth Defense Force 5 for PS4. So you want to kill giant bugs and have fun with your friends.
Yeah.
Go for it.
That's made out here in Japan. Yeah, those games. Yeah.
I'm going to butcher this name. Oniki.
All right.
All right. For PS4.
Yeah.
That an RPG from Square.
Yeah.
And then we also got Lost Sphere. It's a fresh take on classic RPG. It's saying this is a game I've heard of, never played. So
okay.
Yeah. And I Am Setsuna. PS4. Another RPG. I know this is making Carl really, really happy. He's hearing RPG.
It would, but I'm looking at this Oninaki game. I looked at that. It doesn't look good at all to me. Lost Sphere. I looked at it. I'm like, I know that game, and it's visually not for me.
Okay.
So, I'm Setsuna. I don't even know. I don't got like that. I've heard of it.
Yeah.
The Forgotten City, PS4, PS5. An open world game.
Play that game.
Yeah.
I have no. Okay, I will check it out. And here comes the premium lineup. Now this really shocked me. Sony did good moves here. Legend of Dragoon for PS1. This is a game I've always. I now own a physical copy. I've wanted to sit and play it, and having the rewind and just save anywhere functionality. Just so while I'm playing this, I can stop, just save quickly with the thing and load back in instantly. Is great. Wild Arms 2. I've actually never played any of the Wild Arms games. I've heard good things. So it's nice I can jump in on the series. Harvest Moon, Back to Nature, PS1.
Yeah.
Harvest Moon, maybe I'll try this out.
Yeah.
And Destroy All Humans, the remake.
Yay.
Which I do want to try out.
I'm really surprised in this list though. Horizon Forbidden West is in there. That they threw it in there.
Awesome.
I mean, it's only been a year since it's come out, really. I mean, and they're just throwing it in there now. So what is this? Is this like a precedence that's being made now by Sony? You guys, do you think that now each once a big first party game reaches its 1 year mark, they're going to throw it on extra and premium now? What do you think?
I certainly hope so. But I think this is the test bed.
Yeah.
They're gonna see what this does for the service. And to be honest, it makes me want to get the service. So
yeah.
If I'm gonna, the thing is, if I want to buy a PS5 now, I'll just get PS Plus and I'll get Horizon Forbidden West and I'll play it. That's how I want to play it now.
Yeah.
And maybe I will check out some of these other games on here. I Am Setsuna maybe looks decent. These older JRPGs.
For me, definitely the Quarry. I mean, because I held off on buying it at full price. Because I was thinking of either playing or streaming it, during the Halloween season. But now that it's on PS Plus, boom, just download it.
I would try that because I've always wanted to try Until Dawn. The other one's not so much, but the Quarry is more like Until Dawn, and I'm curious to see how that is. Yeah. Legend of Dragoon is funny that the Legend of Dragoon is finally there for everyone who wants to experience that game that's really not as good as you might think it is.
Ooh, I know one of our patrons will have to disagree on me on that.
Yeah.
I won't say which one, but
and look, I haven't played it all. I played a little bit of it, so I'm not gonna. I'm exaggerating here. I don't know if it's really, from what I've looked into the game after I played a little bit of it. and I've watched some like stuff on the dialogue is pretty bad. I don't think I'm wrong to say that from what I've seen recently, looking at it now. As far as like gameplay and stuff goes, I mean, I never really liked the sort of combo thing that you had to do. That wasn't
The
really
additions.
for me. Yeah, I didn't really love that. So like, I don't think I'm not saying it's a bad game at all. I'm sure it's pretty good as far as these RPGs go. But I think it's in that class of like, here's your like class of like, these are pretty good, turn-based JRPGs, and then you have like the ones no one cares about, and then you have like the upper echelon, and I don't think it's in there. Now, if they did a remake, I think there's a lot to be done to make this like excellent, but I don't think you can just be like put a new fresh coat of paint on it and it's gonna be a big hit.
All right.
So my thing on the Horizon, sorry,
go ahead.
for them putting it on there. I think because let's be honest, Sony has not announced the sales numbers for Horizon Forbidden West. I think they're more doing this of they realized we're only going to get so many more sales on this. Might as well put it in the service here. Try and boost up the service because they did lose some PS Plus subscribers.
Yeah.
So try and boost up the subscription rate on everyone. Get people in the door with Horizon.
Yeah.
And give the because they're not going to put God of War within a year. God of War Ragnarok. I don't see it. We still don't even have like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart's not on the service, and that's been out for a while.
Yeah, that's been longer. That was what I was thinking. I'm like, why isn't that there?
Yeah.
Because I can be pretty safe in saying that Horizon Forbidden West sold better than Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
I don't know. I think Rift Apart might have sold better, but without the numbers, we can't
say. Right? But I would say, if anything, they're very close, and I would lean towards Horizon because it's just at this point like the more popular franchise, I'd say. I know Elden Ring kind of like crapped on it, but like still,
I have to agree with Carl. I think this is a test bed to see how well subscription rates increase on the service, throwing Horizon Forbidden West on there, and like a game like the Quarry and stuff like that. So the next couple of months are going to be interesting to see if it goes back to the way it was, or if they're going to start throwing these big titles on there. We shall see.
They got to weigh what happens, because how does it affect sales, right? I mean, if they look at it and they say, well, sales didn't really change, sales stayed sort of the same, but we got a lot more subscribers, then win-win, right?
Right.
Yeah. But at this point, you're selling Horizon at a discount, right? I don't think Horizon is full price.
No, they're doing sales, right?
Yeah.
They're doing sales right now.
Yeah.
A lot of the PS5 games are actually on sale right now. They're doing a little sale.
Yeah.
It is $47.56 on Amazon.
56
for some reason.
No,
but it's on sale. Yes.
All right. So now it's time to talk about the games that we'll be playing this upcoming week. So Burley, Carl, I'm sure you guys are going to continue with Hogwarts, right? Hogwarts Legacy. Continue with that game. And I will try to to get farther into Hi-Fi Rush. But Atomic Heart. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably try to download that too. I got to try to play that game. Looks great. So
my wife is actually watching me play Hogwarts Legacy. It's the only video game she's watched me play. And I can't even remember the last time something like that happened. And
nice,
which is nice. Like at night, every night, like she's like, "Oh, let's play more of the game." Like, and she just just watching along, making comments, telling me, "Oh, do that quest." I'm like, "Okay, that sounds fine. Let's do that."
Nice. You should be going brewing potions right now. Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
I did make a second character just in case I want to sort of run on my own. So like I have a male character I made for myself, and there's a female character we made together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. So of course, all of you viewers, we want to thank you all for coming in and watching episode 123. So we appreciate all of your support. And now it's time for the indie recording artist spotlight to end the show. So this week's spotlight is on Kissing Candace. Kissing Candace is a brutal yet melodic masked metal band based out of New York. Combining the grooves of early new metal and the pulsing electronics of industrial with modern aggression and edge, Kissing Candace is a horrific force to be reckoned with. So it goes on. The band has released material with both Victory Records and Stay Sick Recordings, relentlessly touring nationwide as part of the Rockstar Energy Mayhem Festival back in 2015, from the title song of their album called Crash and Burn. So this has been the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast, episode 123. So we hope to catch you in the next episode. So next week. So take care, everyone, and enjoy the compilation for all of you video viewers that's coming next. Take care. Peace out.
Tripping and tripping. We learn, we crash.